Well, while 2013 has been full of excitement and unforgettable moments, the year was hit by great sadness in August when we lost one of our cultural giants. Seamus Heaney died on the 30th of August, aged 74. I had the pleasure of his company on many occasions, including our final interview with him and Liam O'Flynn, just before his last public appearance in this city as part of the FLA. But for all his travels and prestigious encounters, Seamus never forgot his roots, and in particular, his connection to County Derry. And for BBC Northern Ireland's coverage of the UK City of Culture, he generously gifted the following text: "Oak Grove, shelter us, stone walls, strengthen us, shining river foil, make our future bright." Well, earlier today in BBC Radio Foyle, a piece of art was unveiled to mark the BBC's involvement with this special year, and the artist Alan Burke from Newcastle, County Down, used Seamus's words as his point of inspiration. "We were deeply touched that Mary Heaney and other family members attended that unveiling, and I'm delighted to say that Dan Heaney, Seamus's brother, is with us tonight. Please put your hands together. We feel his loss deeply.
I have to say at this point just to thank the City of Culture, because it was because of the City of Culture that Seamus came to the Millennium Forum, and it was our last chance to see him. Yeah. And it was a truly memorable night, and we were looking forward to next 3 weeks later he was to be in Macrafelt for a poetry festival on home ground, but it wasn't to be. Yeah.
The poet Carl Miller said, "A poet to be grateful for," but he was your big brother as well.
He was, yeah. And I'll say at this stage too, I know that he was held in some regard in the country, but nothing prepared us for the tsunami of affection that his memory invoked. And there
was a huge amount of love for him.
There was, yeah. I thought that was just for ourselves, but it turned out everybody else wanted a piece of him as well. And
what would he make of that sculpture today?
He would think it was beautiful. It was, and it was so touching that it was actually, the base of it is a heart. And he loved that.
We miss him terribly, and his legacy continues in his poetry and in just who he was.
Yeah, well, that's what I suppose the general thing is. We have lost a man, but we'll have the poetry.
Dan Heaney, thank you so much.
Please
put your hands together for Dan Heaney.
As Mary-Louise has said, Seamus had deep connections to Derry. At the age of 12, he won a scholarship to St Columb's College here in the city. He was a boarder. A transition, Seamus said, from the earth of farm labour to the heaven of education. St Column's is so rightly proud of their Heaney heritage, and to deliver a tribute on behalf of the school, please welcome to the stage St Column's pupil, Kane McLaughlin.
Hello, my name is Kane McLaughlin. I'm a Year 13 student in St Column's College, alma mater, as you all know, of the late Seamus Heaney, who's rightly being remembered tonight at the end of our city's year as cultural beacon in these islands and far beyond. The Irish writer Roy Foster wrote in The Guardian about our Nobel Prize-winning poets. Whereas Yeats' shadow was seen by some of his younger contemporaries as blotting out the sun, Heaney's great presence let in the light. As a student in St Column's, especially an English student like me, Seamus Heaney was never portrayed as some giant of literature who we can never understand or hope to emulate. He's more like one of our past pupils who's just done really well. But we can still aspire to be like him. He explained to a French interviewer once what a culture was. then followed it by saying, I like poetry that doesn't fancy itself up to be poetry. Don't we all? Heaney SJ, as he is called on our school attendance record, is culture personified, but still loved by people like me who watch I'm a Celebrity. When we first read Death of a Naturalist at school, we become the young Heaney. We've been in that classroom too. We just know what slobber means. And obviously, there's farting, and we like that too. We move on to digging, which is about Seamus breaking with expectation and tradition, becoming his own man. As we get older, we understand that he's lived what we are living. He becomes a guide almost. It's okay, he says, you'll be grand. My teacher told me that doing English was Seamus's title for his public lectures at Oxford and Harvard. I don't know if I could ever do English better than him, but he never makes you feel like you shouldn't try. He encourages you, I think, to take your pen and dig with it. When asked about how he felt about receiving the Nobel Prize, Seamus is quoted as saying, "Nothing can prepare you for it. Zeus thunders and the world blinks twice, and you get to your feet again and try to keep going." Is that not how we all felt when he left us? I was never lucky enough to have met Seamus Heaney, but I feel like I have. Even weirder is when I read his poems, I feel like he must know me too. That must be what a genius is. Before I read you 2 or 3 of Seamus's shorter poems, I like to say that my favorite line ever is from Electric Light, page 61, when he talks about language that can still knock language sideways. It's what Seamus Heaney's poems will keep doing to students and readers forever, I believe. Now, the first poem I'm going to read is The Bereaved. Set apart, first down the aisle like brides, are those boys who are permitted to leave the study early for music practice. Privileged and unenvied, left alone inside 4 bare walls to face the exercise. Eyes shut, shoulders straight back, cold hands out above the keys. And then savagery of the piano music's music going wrong. The second poem is entitled Nights of 57. It wasn't asphodel, but mown grass we practice on each night after night prayers when we lap the college front lawn in bare feet and white singlets. Schooling beyond ourselves. Heel ball and heel thud, open mouth for summer. The older I get, the quicker and the closer I hear those labouring breaths and feel the coolth. Now, the last one is which I feel is most poignant following his passing. It's In the Afterlife. It will be like following Jim Logue, the caretaker, as he goes to sweep our hair off that classroom floor where the school barber set up once a fortnight. Falling into step as he does his rounds, glimmerman of dorms and silent landings, of the refectory with its solid crests marked Delph, the ground floor corridor, the laundry pile and books tagged for the cobbler. Was that your name on a label? Were you a body or a soul? Thank you, Seamus Heaney, and thank you all for listening. Good night.